Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And it's still Chris's birthday.
It
Happy
is.
birthday.
Thank you.
And today we'll be talking about Love Island USA, Season 7, Episode 31.
Listen, to everyone who sent a happy birthday, all the wishes, thank you. It's so many to go through, but I would definitely try to respond to as many as I can. Thank you to my wife for setting up a beautiful day. I said, Blair, whatever we about to do, let me talk to the people first.
Okay.
Can I talk to the people first? Guess what? We still got at least a little over an hour of my birthday left. And guess what? I want to talk about this episode. Subscribe, like, share, comment. My only birthday wish, get us to 9,000 subscribers. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's go, Blair.
So we start with Olandria and Huda. Olandria is happy to explore her connection with Nick, and she feels like the groundwork has been set. They've got a friendship, and she's also attracted to him.
The groundwork has been set for what?
I guess exploration. I thought we just jumped in and explored, but Olandria needs time for friendship to be set up first, I guess.
Well, since this is your hive, are you still happy about Nick and Olandria at least exploring each other, being a couple?
I am.
Okay.
I actually am.
After seeing this scene actually made me more mad about Nick and Olandria actually being a couple. What groundwork? I thought you was into cowboys. I thought you was into countrymen. Nick is everything but that. On top of that, it just came off as very produced. You get what I'm saying? Now you have Hood over there like, girl, tell me, like, are you happy? Are you happy that you finally with Nick? What do you mean finally with Nick? What literally every interaction that they had outside of challenges has been produced by the producers. Olandria get eliminated, Nick get eliminated, and then they have a date. You get what I'm saying? They get Sierra up out the villa, and now basically they got to be together. So it's like outside of that, it would be more believable if Nick was out there pulling Olandria for chats during during the whole duration of the season, but he wasn't doing that. It just feels very forced to me, but I'll let y'all have it.
But I think for Nick, I think that the attraction has always been there. He kissed her during that first challenge.
Yeah.
He's always very mindful of her. And so I think that Nick's energy towards Olandria has always been one of interest.
Okay.
I think Olandria has just blocked herself off to anything other than Taylor.
Okay.
So.
And can I respond to that?
Sure.
Do you think Nick likes Olandria or Nick likes?
I think Nick likes.
Okay.
But that includes that he likes Olandria.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm about to say Olandria pulls ace for kisses all the time during challenges, at least early on in the season, and I never thought that they two would be an item.
Well,
listen here, I'm gonna let y'all have it.
Well, I do want to say that Nick has much more of a spark when he talks to Olandria than I feel like he had with Sierra, if I'm being honest.
Well,
he seems more lively.
Well, here's the thing. Actually, you brought something back to my memory. I want to respond to some people in the comments who said, hey, why are you saying Nick have to go home? Like that makes no sense. Like, Sierra got pulled out for her racist comments. Like, it makes no sense for Nick to go home. No, it doesn't make Nick to stay because, for one, in Love Island, if I have a connection with Blair and I'm closed off with Blair and there's less than 7 days left of the show, you're telling me to basically, if my feelings were true, right, to basically have those same feelings that I built throughout the whole duration of the show with someone in less than 7 days. That's why Nick should have went. I'm not saying he should have went with Sierra. Now, if he's in love with Sierra, of course, you just battle whatever storm y'all about to face. But I'm just saying, Nick, you are single. Because Sierra, we put her out, so you have to go. I'm sorry your game was affected by this, but hey, it's not real, or it's not believable rather, that you can actually have these strong feelings within less than 7 days of the show with Olandria. That's just my thoughts, but I'll let y'all have it. I bow out. White flag. Okay.
And I think that points to the fact that Nick's feelings for Sierra weren't that strong. So he's going to continue his connection with Olandria.
Yeah, so he have history of lying to these women. Okay, I feel you.
So we move on to Pepe and Iris. They're sitting close on the couch. She always thought of him as off limits, but they're both feeling good about exploring each other.
They're like, you hear some rumor. I'm not really a hot topic type of person, but I read some rumor today that Iris did want to leave with TJ, but they told her,
Oh, no, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, there's some rumor going around. I don't know how true this. Let us know how true that is.
I don't know. I don't think you can kidnap people. So maybe there was just some convincing for her to stay.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, it's not about kidnapping. It's like, okay, you leave early. We just find you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, so it's not really kidnapping, even though you fly me to a secure location, away from my family.
Phone.
And take my phone. So, no, it's not kidnapping. It's Love Island. You know what I mean? Yeah, I hear you.
So we move on to Brian and Amaya. They both live on the East Coast, so it'll be easy for them to see each other. And they're both just very happy with their situation. And they end up making out. And I will say, Brian made strides for me in this episode.
You think
I'm
so?
starting to believe that he actually does like Amaya.
Gosh.
Maybe he's fooling me, but he seems like he enjoys her. He actually does. He doesn't seem like he's faking.
My only question is, what's his other option?
I mean, you're right, but I think that he seems like he enjoys her. So,
Okay.
Let's let Amaya have her whatever this is.
And that's my problem with this season, right? I don't want a Make-A-Wish Amaya season to where we clap whenever Amaya used the bathroom in the potty and things like that. Amaya is a grown-up, and guess what? She's smart. All of y'all tell us all the time that she work in the medical field and things like that. She's a nurse. So she's capable of being an adult. She don't need to be patronized by me, by you, by us. You get what I'm saying? So I'm over the whole patting on the head like, oh, she got a connection. I blame Ace, to be honest, because if Ace didn't really wasn't so heavy-handed, he wouldn't have made her such a figure to where we got to feel sorry for.
Because she feels like the underdog.
But now it's not a... Keep going.
Okay.
We done lost the plot in many ways in this season, but I understand.
So it's bedtime.
Yeah.
Nick was excited to be closed off, but apparently it's just not meant to be.
Yeah.
Huda could see things working out with Chris on the outside. The guys end up having a pillow fight while the girls are upstairs. And we see what everybody's kind of doing in their bed. Olandria and Nick were cuddling. Huda and Chris had the covers shaking. Iris and Pepe were kissing, and Amaya and Brian were kissing.
Yeah, listen here. It seemed like everybody was basically just enjoying the night. Ace and Shelly just chilling, going to sleep. You know what I mean?
Yep. So it's the next day, and they are woken up by crying babies. Ace and Shelly ended up having twins. Iris and Pepe have twins, and they are parents for the day.
Oh my good, they got woken up by crying babies. It's the same as getting woken up by Amaya every morning.
Oh my goodness,
Sorry.
you do say that like every time. You hear Amaya's voice, the first voice.
I don't
every morning.
know if y'all pay attention because we review the show. We kind of watch the show with a different eye. I don't know if y'all noticed, but for the past 31 episodes, or every episode that Amaya been on, when no shades go up, you know who's the first voice every morning? Amaya. If I was in that room, I would be like, Amaya, your voice cannot be the first voice every morning. It just can't be. It can't be. You get what I'm saying? Early bird get the worm. Take a break, okay? Please, okay?
So Ace and Taylor have their babies in their little holders.
Yeah.
Iris and Pepe have the babies on the counter while they're cooking.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yes. The guys are holding things down while the ladies are upstairs getting ready for the day. Chris says that his job is easy since Huda's already a mom.
Yeah.
And Huda says that this is normal for her and she's grateful for this challenge.
Now, keep that in mind because I want that to stay right there. Huda said out her mouth that she said she's grateful for this challenge. She feels like I'm going to ask some more things. She said she feels like she's a pro. You get what I'm saying? Later on in the episode, she said things like she woke up, she heard a crying baby, and she automatically went into that automatic, picked it up, started, you know what I mean? Remember, she said she's grateful for this challenge. Let's see if those words stay the same throughout this episode.
So Nick takes the baby to the gym with him.
Yeah.
And he ends up telling Ace that he thought that they were taking things slow, but him and Olandria got to cuddling. She backed that thing on him, and he started getting hot and bothered. Ace had to move his daughter out the way. It's a little too much for her ears. The sons, it was okay, apparently. But Nick is definitely open to this, and especially because they have a child together. So he's going to make this thing work.
What is your thoughts on this?
I just thought it was a funny scene. I really didn't think too much deep into it. What about you?
No, listen here. I think Nick just likes, and guess what? When you put $100,000 as the prize instead of you actually finding a connection, a love, and things of that nature, then guess what? This is what you get. You get ultimate gameplay.
But do you think that he's into Olandria at all?
In what way? As in like
physically?
Sure. But I like people for how they look. That doesn't mean that I want to be with them.
Okay. That was my first question.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry. I don't want to lead the witness. Go ahead.
Second question. Do you think that he's into her as far as enjoying her company, their conversations?
As a friend,
based off what you've seen.
Based,
no, don't add stuff. Based off what you've seen.
I need
Does
clarification.
He enjoy the conversation that he has with her?
Sure, it looks that way. That
so
he
it's
enjoys.
A fine woman backing that thing up on him, making him laugh, and you want to talk about 100K.
Objection, y'all. That's not how it works. Okay, no.
I'm trying to fight for us, y'all. Nicolandria Hive.
No, look. My thing is, I think
there's something there.
There's nothing there, right? The problem is, listen here. Guess what? I will back down and wave my white flag if we just.
I thought you already waved it.
I'm gonna wave it again, right? If we just agree that this season of Love Island is too personality driven. Like it's not about couples anymore. It's not about love anymore. It's about who we like. Well, and we will make excuses for the person and for the people that we like on the show. I like Olandria too, but you don't see me over here like basically saying, woo, she's with Nick. I'm happy she gets the chance to win 100K. I'm like, Olandria been saved at least 9 times. She got 9 lives on this show. Mm-hmm. And we're at the end of the end of the season, and you missed the opportunity to actually have a genuine connection to win $100,000. I'm not for Olandria winning.
Now, my thing is, I know we can't put episodes in a silo.
Oh my gosh.
But if we were to put an episode in a silo, mm-hmm. for episode 31, I felt more of a love connection and people exploring each other and things blossoming in this episode. I could see it finally. Is that fair or no?
No, it's not.
For
fair.
you, it's all fake now. It's all fake. What are we even watching?
We done lost the plot, okay?
I felt the love this episode. Okay. If you did, let me know too.
Maybe, hold on. Maybe by the end of this review, maybe I'll feel it.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So Chris leads a daddy, mommy, and baby yoga session for everyone. Chris was going to basically set her up. Hold on. Oh, he was going to sit the baby up. Mm-hmm. And Huda ran over talking about, you can't sit the baby up. She can't hold her head up straight. Mm-hmm. And so she went to grab the baby. Chris asked everyone how they are feeling, anything they want to get off their chest. Everyone's talking about their wishes for their babies for when they grow up. Mm-hmm. And he's about to start the class. And Shelly asks him, well, what do you guys want for your baby? And Chris says his piece, but then he goes on to teach the class. And Huda could keep saying, well, F me then, because she didn't get a chance to speak. Well, then why didn't you speak up then? I'm sorry. I know Chris didn't ask you, Huda, but he's in teacher mode. Yeah. This was not an offense. I'm sorry. You just took offense.
Hey, what is one of my sayings, Blair? You probably don't remember it because I said this in year 1 of us knowing each other. Mm-hmm. I said, one of my sayings that I used to say is, let's not choose to be offended. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Let's seek understanding instead of, feeling offended and things like that.
Yes, it's important to learn.
Yes, so with Huda, as we about to see, this is basically just the prelude of what's about to happen in this episode with Huda. Mm-hmm. She is choosing to not seek understanding, but she's choosing to basically lean into her feelings because that's what she done for 31 episodes.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And really, she haven't been reprimanded for it. She's still here. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, like when I see Huda and basically trying to nitpick and basically using all these things to build a case because that's what she does, right? Instead of, like, for example, if we go back to Jeremiah and when America broke them up, right? Mm-hmm. They did not respond the same way as Shelly and Ace when they found out that they was on the bottom of the rankings with America, right? When America broke up Huda and Jeremiah, they did the Spider-Man meme to where they was pointing at each other like, it must have been you.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? No, it's you. I need to find out what's going on. You know what I mean? Ace and Shelly, on the other hand, even though their relationship kind of feels icky to me, they said, like, listen, no one knows Ace like I know Ace. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to seek understanding. What are we doing wrong? Well, Shelly, you had a bad week, okay? But other than that, like we about to see Huda basically act like Huda.
Yeah. So Amaya, Brian, and the baby are in soul ties.
Yeah.
The baby starts crying, and Brian calms the baby down. Amaya loves to see him as a father. He seems super calm and collected. Mm-hmm. She wants to be a fun mom, make her kids' lives magical. He's talking about how she is a hot mom, and she's over here talking about if he wants some breast milk. So they doing the thing.
Yeah. Outside of them being, from some type of Hispanic descent and things like that, what do they connect on? Brian and Amaya.
I think they enjoy each other. I think that's part of exploring a connection is figuring out if you actually enjoy spending time with the person that you're around. I do think that, the conversations about their heritage, mm-hmm. things that they've worked hard to do, as well. Like, I'm over here really selling them.
No, I know.
And I don't believe it 100%, but I do say that for what we've seen and now how I've seen Brian responding to her, I think they really do enjoy each other. And I think that's something.
Well, here's the thing. I think he enjoys Amaya what she shows, and that's the danger. There's nothing wrong. Let me make sure I make this clear. There's nothing wrong with physical touch being your love language and things like that. Me personally, I would say, hey, have a little bit of every part of love language so you can be, fluent in every language. But I think because physical touch is her primary love language, she leads with that. I think it's easy for Brian to basically fall in line with that. Because who don't want an attractive woman kissing them unless your name is Ace? You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Who don't want to be coupled up with a attractive woman like Amaya and things like that?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the burden of leading a conversation is never on me. If y'all listen to every conversation that Brian and Amaya had, Brian still haven't hit 100 words yet. You get what I'm saying?
But the thing is that he actually likes that about her. She doesn't have to,
of course,
pull back when it comes to him because it works for them.
Of course. And I'm not, listen, all I'm saying is I just find it very convenient that Amaya been in that village, or been in that villa rather, and he could have went straight for her. The Bombshells have the benefit of looking at the show.
And I see that. I do see that.
Like he got he had the benefit of watching the show before he got on the show.
Yeah.
Right? Amaya always been there, but yet she was third option. Mm-hmm. Interesting to me. That's all I'm saying. Very interesting.
So Taylor and Clark are cuddled up.
Yeah.
Taylor is the fun parent. Clark is the strict parent. And their baby has pretty much been chill all day.
Okay.
We learned that Iris wants 5 kids. Pepe wants 2. Taylor says 3. And Clark wants at least 2. And she definitely wants a girl. Mm-hmm. Taylor sees that Clark could be a good mom.
I understand this is a challenge. This is a Love Island original challenge and things of that nature with the babies. But, guys, let's remember, these are dolls. These are toys. And I am not going to make a real assessment on toys. On a producer pressing a cry button. And seeing basically if I run around, if I burp it, if I dance for it, if I do all these things, it will stop crying. I understand that. But, I think I'm basically setting y'all up for what's about to happen soon, right? Because what the guys did later on in this episode, I would have did it with my toy baby too. Hey, let's race with the baby on basically our heads and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's play catch. You know what I mean? So, like, I understand that Taylor is saying that she would make a good mom, but at the end of the day, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. But I do feel like the Taylor hate is kind of like dying down. The Clark hate is dying down. I'm not seeing a lot of people disliking Taylor and disliking Clark. They may not be the favorite out of the group that's left. But at the end of the day, listen, I have no problem with Clark.
So the ladies have drinks and snacks while the guys are downstairs watching the babies.
Yeah.
And they decide to do a stroller race around the villa.
Yeah.
So they set up a whole course. They're doing lunges. Then they have to change the babies. And Huda's talking about she doesn't like the color that Chris is changing the baby into. And he tells her to shut up.
Please.
So Brian ended up winning. Nick was last, but the baby was not crying. And Huda asked what he's doing, don't rip stuff off of her head. And Chris says Huda is stressing him out. She wants to be in control of everything. It's an experiment. It's not real. Huda tells him, don't tell me to shut up. And he does end up apologizing to her.
What's your thoughts?
I thought Huda was doing the most. I do feel like Chris, he didn't have to respond that way, but at the same time, shut up.
Yeah.
At the same time, please shut up. Because you see, we're all running around, we're all racing, we're all trying to do this thing. Chris isn't doing something in particular to your baby to hurt your baby.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I was just kind of yeah, she's just choosing to be offended and upset. And I get, as they further have a conversation of basically it kind of put her back in a mental space of how things were when she was taking care of her daughter, which it seemed like probably she didn't have much support from the father, or at least the way she puts it, because he'd be online talking about he takes care of his kid. So, but the way she puts it is that a lot was on her. And I could imagine that this might trigger her in ways, but she's got to get a hold of it. I mean, it's a little bit much.
I'm not buying that, Blair. I'm tired of people using that word trigger and things of that nature. If something trigger you, go lay on someone's couch. I'm tired of it, right?
Yeah.
Go touch some grass outside. Stop being strange. You get what I'm saying? The reason why I told you to shut up, because out of every woman up there, I hear your voice throughout the whole obstacle course.
Yeah.
You talking about don't snatch nothing off the head. I saw Ace and Olandra fight over the baby bonnet, and Olandra snatched the bonnet off the baby head.
Yes.
Why did she snatch the bonnet off the baby head?
Because her baby needed
because
a bonnet.
It's a toy.
Okay. She was trying to get the do-rag off his head, and he said, if you don't go to the store.
Exactly. So she took the baby bonnet off the head, right?
Yeah.
And why did she do it? Because it's a toy. You over here yelling and not even being fun, not being basically cool, making things about you. You got to make your voice known in the whole villa, because guess what? We having too much fun, and now Huda got to make it known. Don't pick that color. Watch the head. Oh my goodness! Don't tell me shut up. Well, then be quiet then.
Yeah.
And my thing is shut up a mean thing to say? Of course, shut up is never nice. It will never be received nicely.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But sometimes it's the best thing to say.
Sometimes people need to shut up.
Sometimes, listen here, I understand the person on the receiver end don't like it, but it feels good leaving the person who said mouth.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's all Huda needs to do. She's over here talking about, and we are going to get there, talking about this triggered me, this brought me back to a place where I was a single mom. But I could have sworn just a couple scenes ago where I told you to keep your finger there, Blair. She was grateful for this challenge.
Yeah.
Huda, please.
So
okay.
Nick and Olandria talk. They think that they're doing pretty good in the challenge so far.
Yeah.
Olandria would want 2 to 4 kids. Nick says 2 to 3.
Okay.
He he asked her, like, could she be a single mom? I kind of thought this was a strange question.
That was a weird question to me.
I thought it was strange. I don't want to read into it.
I do.
I'm just like, is it because she's black? Like,
yes,
I don't know. Like,
yes.
why are you asking her if she could be a single mom?
Because I ain't gonna be there.
Olandria wouldn't want that, but if it came down to it, she would do what she needed to do. But that's why she's so particular about who she has around her.
Yeah.
Nick wants to do 50-50 parenting with his partner and just really instill in them what he had as a child with his parents. Olandria likes seeing how he caters to her and the baby's needs.
Do we have any information about Nick's parents being divorced?
I don't know anything about that. I've only seen his mom and I think his sister on TikTok.
Okay.
And they are Nick Olandria.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah. And the reason
but I don't know about that.
The reason why I asked that, unless there's information about his parents being divorced, that question makes no sense of why he asked Olandria that.
Yeah.
Like, where the hell that came from?
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about being a single mom? Or like, do you see yourself as a single mom? I don't know if he was trying to connect.
I don't think anybody. Well, the thing is, he did end up saying that he did think of, and this is a later conversation, where he would have adopted a child as a single father.
Yeah.
So maybe he's trying. I don't know. I'm not going to explain it for him.
No.
It was strange.
It was
a strange question.
It was strange,
yeah.
Right? And my thing is, if the foundation was there,
yeah,
right? If all this stuff was there, mind you, we only review what we see. If the foundation of friendship was there, Olandria told us many times that her mother was a single mom, and it was hard for her mother, and she's seen her mother struggle, but she believes her mother is Superman, and guess what? She is.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So I don't even understand why Nick would ask that question. But, it is what it is.
So Ace is tired, and Shelly comes over. She asking, "Is this our baby?" And Ace said, "I just changed the baby's clothes."
Wow.
You don't even know your own kids.
Mm-hmm.
Ace thinks that they're great mom and dad separately, but they need to work on their teamwork as far as being parents in a couple.
Yeah.
Ace pretty much wants to hear a good job. And Shelly says, "Well, when have you given me a good job?"
See what I mean?
And he says, I did tell you good job. I did let you know, but you really haven't given me a good job. And instead of Shelly saying good job, she says, we're going to need parenting courses.
Ooh.
I wasn't a fan of that.
Oh.
I was not a fan of that.
What is your thoughts?
I mean, if he is voicing to you that he needs a little bit of acknowledgement, and this man was holding 2 babies pretty much all day, running around with the stroller.
He was a single father.
I mean, he was like a single father all day. He had both of the things in his mouth. What do you call it?
You call it the pacifier.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for helping me. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, Ace did a lot today.
Yeah.
And not to say Shelly didn't, but just we didn't see it. Mm-hmm. But it would have been nice for her to show some acknowledgement. And that's the thing that gets me when we talk about this loving to be chased, loving to be desired, and all that type of stuff. I think that, yes, a man should court a woman, but when you guys are in that space of actually connecting, we need to have reciprocation. We need to let the words flow as far as how we feel about each other and what we're appreciative for each other about. It stops being a chasing game once you guys are in that space. And I think that Shelly has just a little bit of that still wanting to hold back so that he can continue to come forward when I need her to lean in.
Yeah.
You know?
Perfectly said. You would say this was a fun episode, right?
Oh, yeah. I had fun with it.
This was a very fun episode. You know why it was fun? Because the men was taking care of the babies, and the women got to basically chill, be in the makeup room, and basically see how the fathers take care of the babies while, you know, the father's got to cook. The father's putting the baby on the counter, you know what I mean? The father over here in the gym, he got the baby in the stroller, you know, Ace, you know. It was a fun episode because the fathers was basically taking care of the babies. If the roles were reversed and things like that, there would have been a whole basically PSA at the end of the episode talking about we don't believe in misogyny. You know, like basically like we don't believe in this toxic stuff, because if the roles were reversed and the women was downstairs taking care of the babies by themselves and things like that, I'm sure Shelly would have wanted, hey, thank you, appreciation, something, right? And that's all Ace is just saying. Ace is just saying, hey, this was a fun challenge, but I'm just trying to see some fun traits or something factual, actual that I can actually hold on to that can maybe translate into the real world. And basically, she's over here basically putting up every roadblock herself. No one's making her do this. Basically saying, oh, okay, I see you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you took the fun out of it, Shelly.
Yeah. And I do want to say, I do not hate Shelly.
No.
Shelly can do better with expressing acknowledgement.
Yes, that's true. No,
that is all.
Yeah, it's just like, it was a fun episode because the guys got to actually take care of their kids and things like that, besides the women and things like that. But it's like, Shelly, keep it fun. Just say thank you for being, you know.
Express your gratitude.
Exactly. Don't make it more than what it is.
Yes. So we move on to Chris and Huda. Huda is feeling triggered.
Oh, boy.
In the early stages of being a mom, she had to do everything. And Chris asked is there stuff that I do that affects your mood? Because he notices her mood will shift. She'll make faces. And Huda just brings up when he asked everyone to speak during yoga, he skipped over her. She also brought the yoga mats out, and she had to ask him to put the yoga mat away. He didn't just think to do it because she was holding the baby. So it's little stuff that she pays attention to, and she actually likes that she can have these conversations with Chris because it seems like he wants to improve.
Yeah.
He tells her that, you know, it's good info to know. She asks what she can do. He asked for a kiss. She asked for the baby, and he ends up kissing her on her forehead.
Yeah, here's the thing. Don't nitpick me.
Yeah.
These ain't your yoga mats in the first place. This belongs to the production team, right? Many times you don't know what I'm going to do, but if you already want to be in control and things of that nature, then it would make it seem like I wasn't going to do it. Don't make an issue about a yoga mat. Don't make an issue about, hey, I didn't ask you a question. Chris did apologize, saying I didn't even think of you in that moment. I apologize, and things of that nature. But this whole thing of now you triggered, because now, guess what? No matter how much fun we have, no matter how much time is left, guess what? You have to center yourself, your being, around my emotions. And now I'm triggered.
Yeah.
Why are you triggered?
And now I have to sit up and cater to you all day.
What do you mean you're triggered? The guys took care of the baby majority of the whole episode that we seen.
Yeah.
So what are you triggered about? This is a toy.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm like, Huda's getting on my nerves now. You know, because it's like I think I'm fatigued of the whole like what about me, woe is me thing.
But I do want to say, I think the only thing that she probably has a point with is that sometimes you do want your partner to just think of you.
Yeah.
Without having to ask. And I would say for that is y'all don't know each other.
Yeah.
And y'all haven't been around each other enough. And that sometimes you do need to have these conversations, because sometimes guys or people in general, they're just not thinking in that way. If they've been moving solo and doing whatever they've been doing, and he's been overseas focused on basketball and whatever it is that he's got going on, like, it's not in his mindset to think of doing for someone else.
Yeah.
You know, and for some people it comes natural. I think Nick, you know, Olandria liked how Nick catered to her and the baby, and he, you know, he's very thoughtful of her and making sure that she's good in every situation.
Yeah.
And that might just be Nick, or even just his mindset of being a nurse and just making sure folks are good. So I think that it's just a difference in people and personalities, and I don't think it always calls to get offended.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it doesn't have to be an issue for everything. It could just be a conversation.
But here's the thing about it, though. Huda would never be happy in life, right?
Oh, goodness.
No, she would never be, because what's the saying? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, yeah, that's
right?
true.
So if she's always saying, you ask them questions, but then ask me, you got her 2 pancakes and you only got me 1.
She got to stop that comparison.
Like, so that's why I'm like, you're never going to be happy.
It's just like you're just a very jealous person.
And that's what I'm saying. Off. But yet, you want to be nitpicky and do all this stuff, but we gonna forget that strange question you asked me in the beginning of last episode, talking about, hey, it was strange and weird that, you know, no one picked to kiss me for a challenge. That's a weird thing to say when I'm trying to get to know you and be serious with you. So that's why I'm like my thing is, don't nitpick me when you're out here still being weird and strange. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I can confidently say, unless she stopped letting comparison steal her joy and her happiness, she ain't never gonna be happy in life.
Yeah. So with Nick and Olandria, it's nighttime. He enjoyed the day. And the babies are gone, y'all. So
the baby's gone.
We're done with that.
Yeah.
So he looks forward to having kids, and he also thought about adopting a child at one point as a single father.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to show his child the world like his parents did. Apparently, you know, they both experienced going to Thailand, and he says that he's never been to Alabama, and she starts talking to him about college football. He just enjoys their conversations. It just feels like a piece of home, and he appreciates her for that.
I would say this conversation to some people may have come off as, but I would ask the question, like, why are you, like, what's going on in your dating life to where you can't, like, commit to somebody to where you can, like, go down the steps of we date, engaged, married, baby, or however order you want to do it. Why did you automatically resort to basically, I'm going to go down and be a single father? That make me question, what is your relationship like when you're in relationships and things of that nature?
Yeah, like how are you with commitment?
You're not 50.
Yeah.
You're not 40. You get what I'm saying? You're young enough to where you can find somebody and commit and actually get everything you want out of life, that being a child. So that's why it was strange to me.
Yeah. I thought it was a good conversation, and maybe if I can give Nick some bail to get out of jail.
Oh my goodness.
Is maybe that question about being a single parent came from his idea of being a single father and how that was something that was on his mind. So maybe it was stemming from there versus something else.
Okay.
But also because I was thinking that this would have been a good opportunity for him to tell her that he donated his sperm and he's got like a child out in the world. But he didn't tell her that. I think the only person he told was Huda. But I would have liked him to expose that or share that with Olandria, you know, just to give her that piece of information, if that would be a factor in her wanting to be with him or not, you know?
It's not, because, you know, I honestly, I thought it was kind of weird that he shared that with Huda, to be honest. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like nothing made you share that. You shared something more personal with Huda than you ever shared anything with Sierra. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, I think we should just stay what's in the villa.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? What you did in your donating time is none of my business, you know?
I don't know, because when I think back to Love is Blind and that whole situation,
that's different.
It gets a little tricky when we're donating physically or donating in a bottle.
They got married. Now, that's true. I ain't going to hold you.
Yeah.
You do bring up a good point. But I would say this also, when it comes down to it, you realize that a lot of relationships, or at least the ones that Nick has brought up on the show, has been long distance, right?
Yeah.
I would say this, though. Long distance are still real relationships. Me and Blair started off long distance, but it wasn't for years. It was literally probably like 6 months or probably
or less.
Yeah, right. My thing about it is there is something too, and I want the people to comment on this, especially people who are in long distance and things like that. There is something more real when it comes down to, hey, I have to basically be around this person every day, every day, every day. I wonder if Nick feel comfortable in long distance relationships because at the end of the day, you know what? I still get to work. I still got my freedom here and there. Whenever they in town, my attention is all on you. So I can be the best. I can be the best. But then I actually get the freedom of actually like, living my life because my partner live out the state or live out the city at this point. So that's why I'm like, Nick is a little funny in the light, but
Yeah. So Chris and Brian talk. Brian's feeling good with Amaya. He actually likes that she calls him babe. Chris said that Huda was dealing with some PTSD stuff from when she dealt with raising her daughter. And he talks about how he folded last night. So pretty much they got it popping.
You have any thoughts about Huda popping it?
Thought it was quick.
Yeah.
But, everybody's grown. So other than that, not much to say about that. When it comes to the Amaya and Brian thing, this is the part that I felt was a little pandering. I like that she calls me babe. Okay, we know that Ace did it. I'm just kind of saying, like, it could be how he really feels, but I felt a little bit of pandering to the camera, a little bit.
Can I dig a little deeper?
Go ahead.
Right? If babe is a common term used in your heritage, why does it mean anything to you? If you hear it all the time from just platonic relationships.
Well, can I answer that?
Go ahead, help me.
It might feel like home. It might feel like comfort. Everybody's talking about how they're getting this warm feeling with these conversations and situations, and it's just bringing them back to their family and just feeling secure. Maybe it's something that makes them feel good.
Maybe. But I would think that someone that basically defended Amaya, rightfully so, that, hey, babe is just a common thing that we say. If it's so common, it kind of loses its, like, spark if you hear it all the time. I did think it was more pandering with the whole, I like being called babe. That's why I was like, Brian, all right, you got the girl, okay? Like you won, okay?
Yeah. So Nick and Ace talk. Nick is going to pursue this romantic connection with Olandria. Ace is very happy for him. Olandria, she at first asked Shelly, does what she and Nick have look natural? And she says, okay, good, because it is natural.
Red flag to me.
I didn't quite understand the question because, and this is where we get into like gameplay and how it's just kind of like this season is just so obvious with the way they're moving. And I why are we worried about perception right now? Aren't we exploring and actually getting to know each other?
The walls crumbling down.
What is going on? You're making me nervous. Don't ask no questions like that again. So Olandria learned that she has to be selfish. Choosing Nick was her first time being selfish here, and she felt good. And she also appreciates having Shelly's support and approval.
Shelly is the worst person to give advice. And I'm not even going to hold you. Olandria is the worst person to give advice to. They're both not good at giving each other advice. Because while she was hung up on Taylor, Shelly was the one that kept bringing up Taylor's name every time Olandria was in a pickle.
She was.
Right? So it's like, what about Taylor? It's like, this guy did not choose me. He chose Clark.
Yeah.
So now, all of a sudden, it looks natural. My whole thing is this. If Sierra was not pulled out of that villa, would y'all still feel the exact same way? And I mean it in the sense of, hey, even though Nick is with Sierra, I've never heard anybody say that, hey, I kind of see you and Nick being an item.
Okay.
It just seems like, hey, it looks natural. Yeah, it looks natural to me because because y'all together. Like we have no choice. There's no other options. I thought the question was telling from Olandria. She's trying to convince us while she's trying to convince herself. Most of the time, I hear Nick basically singing more praises than I hear Olandria and things like that. I think Olandria is trying to basically talk herself into it with trying to get some assistance from her friends. You get what I'm saying? Like, basically, does it look natural? Does it look good? Okay. All right. Okay, cool. So, but it is what it is.
So Shelly plans a date for Ace, and she gets Olandria's assistance. They have s'mores by the fire pit. She recognizes that he puts in a lot of effort, so she wants to return the energy.
Yeah.
She pulls him for the date. He's smiling, really happy. They end up making s'mores, and he says this was one of the most thoughtful things that someone has done for him. It brought him back to a childhood place of being with his mom and his brother, and he thanks her, and they end up kissing.
I would say this about Shelly. I think Shelly is probably, out of everybody we had, definitely one of the top most naturally beautiful women that we had in Love Island USA history, right? Shelly gonna have to work on that, on this being a pattern, basically like showing appreciation, right? Because what's gonna happen is people like Ace, right, who like to chase, who like to basically, as he said, which could be a trap. He said, seeing Shelly do this, makes me want to go 100 times harder.
Yeah.
Basically do a whole bunch of things. People like Ace, right? They will basically do, and keep doing and keep doing and keep doing and keep doing it. And they will never put the pressure on you to show gratitude because that's just who they are, right? But if you fall into the pattern of, oh, he don't really put the pressure on me to show gratitude or to give back, then you may find yourself in a position to where he is suppressing his dislike and his disdain for you and things like that. We seen the whole thing with the whole Shelly and Ace thing when they was kind of like in a rough spot. You realize that light in Ace's eyes was not, listen here, he wasn't saying much. He wasn't joking around. He wasn't being goofy. And I just don't want Shelly to fall into a pattern of basically feeling like she have to wait till her back is up against the wall to show gratitude and things like that based on what we seen on the show. That's why I think the whole thing with Chris was weird to her. You know what I mean? Because with Chris, he's like, hey, I done this one thing for you. I didn't really feel nothing like you giving back to me.
Nothing.
So I'm out. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to her, she's like, whoa. Usually somebody got to do 100 things before I do one thing. You know what I mean? If I was just to throw a number out there. But, I'm being, I'm being sarcastic kind of. So it's like, I think that's why it goes back to what we said before in that deep dive. I think she likes the chase. I think she likes to be chased. But if she's going to be in a relationship with Ace, that's a dangerous relationship to be in when it comes to someone who loves to give and someone who kind of have a hard time showing appreciation. It's going to be rocky in the beginning, but hopefully they can find their footing.
But I do want to acknowledge that this was her showing appreciation and her giving him the energy back that he's been giving her and planning something thoughtful for them to do. So I think that she did a good job with this, and I would just say keep it up.
Yeah.
So we move on to Iris and Pepe. They both had fun. She thought that he was careful and gentle with the baby, and he also liked seeing her as a mom. Iris tells her mom everything, and her mom is the one who's picky about the guys that she dates. They enjoyed kissing and cuddling each other before, and they get to making out now.
Oh, boy.
So, and look, they got a connection going.
Yeah.
They get a text, the Hideaway's open, and they get to select a couple to spend a night together. So they choose Amaya and Brian.
This made me so mad.
Amaya looked hot in her hot pink, and Brian had his beater and boxers and whipped cream.
What did and Amaya do as a couple to deserve the Hideaway?
Okay. The way I think of it as the Hideaway is the people that I think have gotten the furthest in their connection.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that they would have chose Ace and Shelly.
Yes.
Because of how many things that they've been through and how they've kind of stayed strong through a lot of situations for each other. And that would have been a reward for that couple. But this season, they do things all out of whack.
Yeah.
So I think that Amaya was just very happy to be in a couple, and they wanted to give her something special. So,
and here's the thing about it, man. Kudos, right? But I'm sorry that I respect her as an adult and as a fully functional, smart adult. I'm not going to pander her in that way. I'm like, the reason why the Hideaway is not open all throughout the season is because it's supposed to be a reward for the couple that basically make it to this point.
Right.
So right when it unlocks, when you just literally recoupled with Brian for the first time, literally an episode ago, you get to go to the Hideaway? Because you America's sweetheart, because they happy when you go potty, and it makes no sense. Like, to me, we lost the plot. We need to get back to the plot in these last couple episodes. I honestly think, even though I am not a fan of Shelly and Ace and things like that, it doesn't feel real to me, or like whatever. They deserve to be in the Hideaway. No other couple deserve to be in the Hideaway. I just want the Make-A-Wish for Amaya thing to be over so we can actually get back to like some adult TV and things like that. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Listen here, my birthday is over now. I know. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed the birthday wishes and things of that nature. Please get us to 9,000 subscribers. We are so close, and we will be back tomorrow night. Y'all be good.
Bye.